Good morning. Well, almost good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me here. I'm the director of the Pedagogical Innovation Support Center for the University of Montpellier. And I was asked to tell you about our activities. So this is what I will do, and I will end up with giving you two examples of international workshops that we organize. So in January 2018, my unit was born. It was very small. I was basically sitting alone in an empty office. And I was on my own with a big mission, so I had to organize the pedagogical transformation of the university, which is a lot of faculties and schools. So that was a big challenge. And the first thing I did to organize this, I set up a space for the training sessions, because I want to be as close to the people we train as possible. So the first thing we did, we transformed a space. So this is the space. We did a very big job in co-design. We really worked on who is going to use that space to do what and how, and the space has to be our home. And I say this because we are very strong about co-design in this university. Then I have a team. It's a very small team, but we are teachers. We are active pedagogies experts. In particular, I'm also a European expert for DG EAC and DG Research for Erasmus Plus and Horizon Europe. I'm a Stanford D-School trained designer, and I have experts here also in political strategies, in education and educational sciences. So we are small, but we have some skills. Our audience is, older teachers, researchers, newly appointed associated professors, PhD students. We have started training them. I will get back to this later. And educationalists. Over the last, since January 2018, we have redistributed 8.2 million euro over all the faculties and schools. We have launched 5 calls for projects, and we have participated to the transformation of about 30 spaces for learning and 3 incubators. So this is a little bit of an overview of the transformed spaces. We believe that the space has as much impact on pedagogical transformation as the teachers and the people. They affect the behavior of the people and the teachers and the learners. It's extremely powerful. So we fund those spaces, but money is not enough. Money buys chairs and tables and things like screens, but we insist on the fact that people need to go through a co-design process to understand that people are going to sit on those chairs and write on those screens and etc., boards and whatever. So now we have a set of thematic spaces, like for midwives, for example, an escape room for future midwives in medical faculty. We have VR. We have recently launched, has been inaugurated, a pedagogical trial courtroom, a garden at the Pharmacy University. All kinds of spaces are being transformed, and it has a very big impact on the learning. The next one that is being finalized is the transformation, and there are very few in the country, transformation of an amphitheater. We give money out, and we are strict about transformation, the transformation of spaces, but we also organize workshops. So far, we have organized about 71. This is not the correct number. It might be 75 or something like this now, for quite a lot of people. We have made a small presentation, a small video, well, something, with to show you the kinds of workshops we organize. I hope I can. I will comment. Normally, there's no sound. This is a shame. Can I get out and back in again? I'm sorry.
Yes, of course, do.
If I can. I'm not even sure I can. Yeah. Okay, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to spend time on this. There's always a problem with the videos. So we organize workshops in online workshops, face-to-face workshops, high flex workshops. The online workshops can be on things like design thinking, evaluation, or whatever is linked to pedagogies. High flex workshops are workshops with people abroad or at home or wherever, not in the room, and in the room simultaneously. So we are now quite professional of this. And we also organize workshops with experts from abroad, like Louvain. We try to get the best here, Canada, and people like this. So here, this is it's quite a short presentation. This is the one we finished last week. So it was a 4-day training for PhD students who are aiming at becoming teachers, researchers in the university. So we took them from nothing, because they had never taught in any way, and they did not know anything about teaching except when they are themselves students, and to being able to design ways to integrate their research in their teaching and learning. And to get them from zero to this kind of level, we organized sequences of activities, testing active pedagogies techniques. We went through a whole day on evaluations, and the last day was on design thinking. Here we had the people in the middle who are happy and being silly were here. And we had 2 PhD students in Morocco. We had one in Tunisia, and we had one in Cameroon. And we organized all the activities live. So they were there in all those different countries, and they could work with iPads. And it was like the iPad was the person on the table, and they could interact and work together. It was quite smooth. And we also organize conferences. So we have so far organized 3. One that was on a trip from the amphitheater to the reversed workshop. So we go from putting people aligned in an amphitheater, nice and tidy, to a complete upside down atmosphere of active pedagogies. So that was the first one in 2019. We organized one in September 2020, about called La Quadrature du Cercle. The idea, it was online. We had 40 people, and the idea was to get out of the triangle where you have technologies, pedagogies, and spaces at the service at the students in the center of the triangle. We pulled the students out of the triangle to make it a square where the students interact directly with the technologies, the space, and the teachers. And that was basically the concept of that symposium. And the last one we organized in October this year. So we had about 130 people. And the idea was to look back on what can we learn from before the COVID, what happened during the COVID, like a big, everybody was stunned. So we had testimonies from the 4 pillars I just mentioned before. We had testimonies from students, testimonies from people who work on transforming spaces. What was a space during the COVID? Was it my bedroom? Was it a Zoom room? What were spaces during that time? Who were the teachers? Were they people behind the camera? Were they what was what during that period? And we had really people who just were witnesses with emotions. And then the last part of the symposium was we got everybody to play a card game. It's a futurist card game that was created by African American people to look into what is the future of Black people in America. And we adapted to the future of higher education, and it was quite spectacular. People could unleash and get all kinds of ideas together. It was a big brainstorming booster, and then we exchanged about this, looking into the future together. And here, I will also tell you, well, I will finish like this, but then I will give the floor to Patricia. So this is basically our philosophy. We are humans. The pedagogies, it's people. That's it. That's it. It's just people. And this is really at the top of our ranking when we prepare things. We prepare each workshop and each conference and each space for the people who are there, who will sit there, who will work there. And this is really the center of our way of working. Then learning by doing is very strong for us, because when people come for a workshop here, they experiment the techniques we would like them to use in the classroom. So we don't tell them, you do this, you do that. First of all, we test them ourselves with our own students. And then we make people experiment, and then they go home and they can try it because they have lived it. This is another one of our big focuses. Navigating ambiguity is because I think it is hard for teachers to admit that they don't know. And we do. We admit that we don't know. And I think the COVID story put us in a situation where nobody knew anything suddenly. That was painful. So we think that it's good to train teachers and students to adapting to unknown situations. And this is something that is quite strong as well. So we do that. We use a lot of games. Not only escape games, or we also use card games for all kinds of things, even for future surgeons to imagine protocols, hygiene protocols in operating rooms, things like this. We imagine all kinds of games for all kinds of situations. And we believe a lot in networking, and Patricia, who will speak after me, is part of our network of best educators in the area. There are other people, and they have special features. We have groups who are very good at gaming, very good at international training, very good at um, project-based learning, and well, they have features like this. So we are growing a network as well. Co-design of learning spaces, I have explained, this is part of our philosophy. Coaching, networking, shadowing, and mentoring is also part of our philosophy. For example, the young PhD students who attended the workshop, they were offered an opportunity to shadow a teacher, a university teacher, for a full day. Lunch included, meetings included, not just like put lipstick on and go and teach for an hour and everybody's happy. The real stuff that you get up in the morning and you go to meetings and you sometimes have to mark, I don't know, it's not so fancy sometimes. So we organize things like this to get a grasp of the reality. And we focus also on the coaching of master courses, transformation, and courses transformation in general. And the internationalization of networks and learning activities. So this is, for example, yesterday we organized high-flex a team building session for the launch of a module focusing on water for the CHARM EU European Alliance that will be presented after this presentation. And we had cohorts of students and teachers in 5 European countries. Well, I was in one and the others were in the 4. And they worked together in pairs, in international groups, in national groups. They exchanged photos, they exchanged activities, and they built together. At the end of the afternoon, they were ready to start the module on water. That's it. That's the story. It's like very much it's very much a human adventure.